Okay, so welcome back. This is another episode moving on from our first one, which we talked about ourselves and gave an introduction to what this podcast, HumeChat, would be about. And I guess for us, we wanted to give you an overview of the season so far. There's been numerous things have gone on to the harvest season so far, and let's try to encapsulate that in the next 5 or 6 minutes and talk about what's happened so far in the industry and at HumePack. And what we can expect going forward.
Cool. Well, before Darshan carries on, I'd just like to say I'm here, Aimee, and we're joined by producer Jodie as well. So let's talk about the season so far. Darshan, if you had to kind of put it into one sentence, just what do you think of the season so far?
The one sentence is going to be difficult. There's been 2 parts to it, right? So there was the first part, which we went through 2 weeks of absolute pain for not much gain, and that was the start of the season. We were faced with labour issues in the pack house. We had up to 50% of our staff down with COVID. So when you put that together, and Yesperi changing the maturity standards to have fruit cleared earlier to make sure that we don't run out of packing or we don't run out of fruit to pack, all of a sudden they added a huge amount of pressure, as you would understand, on the grower services team and the external team to be able to go and have those conversations with the growers and say why we couldn't pack you or why we can't harvest you now and we have to wait a bit until we get back up and running again. And those 2 weeks seemed like a lot of effort for not much gain. But the second part of the season has been a little bit smoother, which we can talk about it later. What would you add to that?
Yeah, I guess going back to that, I would say it's been a season like no other. In those first 2 weeks while we were trying to get going, it wasn't just staff, it was key staff in the pack house. It was floor supervisors, it was tray prep supervisors. The team that we have all year round, because they were all working together, they all came down with COVID at the same time. And we rely on those guys a lot at the start of the season to train everyone else. You know, everyone that just comes in for a job, you need people that know how to train them and keep the shed running. They are so critical to the pack house. So it was a real struggle when those guys all had COVID. It was really slow. It was frustrating because we know the pack house was capable of so much more, but it was just trying to get through while staff had COVID. And
to be fair, we held our own in that regard. Where there wasn't a whole heap of growers, actually, I can think of maybe 1 or 2 that we had to turn away or delay. But other than that, the fruit that was clearing, and we started harvesting export fruit on the 7th or the 8th of March. We started packing on the 9th or 10th of March. So we've been going for 5 weeks solid now, if not longer. And we've had days off to give the staff a rest, and we've had half a day off because of rain. Other than that, we've had fruit to pack and we've been packing. And we are now at maybe 100%, if not more than last year's capacity already, with the automation and the changes to the shed that were made.
Yeah.
But looking back and how we started, we've come a long way, and there's still some facilities that we're hearing rumours out there that are still operating less than ideal capacity. But for us, it's a great credit to the team that we have, and people forgot their day jobs and stepped aside and got into the shed and to make things work. And we had managers or senior managers that were running night shifts just because to get the fruit packed. And this is what we do, and this is what we're supposed to do. But when times get really tough, the tough must get going.
Yeah, I guess on reflection, we're so lucky we have the automation we do. You know, we invested so much money into the pack house in the last year, if not the last 2 years. And that's truly paid off. Yet we felt the struggles of COVID and having staff away, but we've got 16 bulk box fillers, and they run by themselves. There's a lot of automation in the pack house that just takes care of itself. So we did struggle, but yeah, man, we're in a pretty good position, all things considered.
No, and I think that's great, because the investment that has gone on is a new grading technology worth about $1.5 million, if not more. A new cool store facility worth about $10 million, if not more. Yep. More box fillers another couple of million to throw in there, a new robot for stacking another $1 million, right? So the millions start racking up, but on top of any result to show for it, which we did when it was really difficult and couldn't get staff, our shed stepped up and got the job done.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of talk about it, but you may not have seen it yet, but our trusty producer Jodie, she's actually put a fair bit of stuff together on social media, and when you go back and watch it, just the amount of tasks that happen from once the fruit is in the shed through to being in a box labelled stacked. Watching those videos truly goes to show how much is actually being done without human interaction. Yeah. We still need humans, we still need staff on the floor, but the automation takes away a lot of tasks.
And the staff we need on the floor are those key roles, looking after the automation and making sure that the automation keeps ticking away and is not turned off. So while the packhouse works through its own set of issues and tries to overcome them in the field, we had our own. We started off the season with a team of RSC. Slowly that dwindled down as the packhouse started losing people to COVID. We made sure that the RSCs are available for them to get the fruit packed. We relied on a good contingent of our local contractors to get through our harvest, which they've can't be more. Can't send my regards to more of them at this stage, because they've been tremendous, and we're still using our contractors to this date. We don't have RSCs in the field because we're still lingering effects of COVID. Hopefully they'll be out soon, but they're just to show that a combined effort in the community through the networks that we've established, that we've managed to get the job done. And to date we are tracking ahead of last season with the volume that we've packed so far.
Yeah, and I guess we have to thank our growers too for being pretty accommodating. Some growers are just so used to having RSCs come and pick, but at the end of the day, we said if we want our shed to run, we need the RSCs in the shed, and we're relying on local contractors. So appreciate growers understanding that, and same with contractors. If we didn't have these contractors,
would be struggling. We'd be really struggling. So I guess that's what the season's gone so far. To summarise, it's been really difficult, but we've had the people and the desire and the automation, and I guess the automation comes from future planning and strategic planning to put that in place in the years past, because something that's put in place now was designed 2-3 years ago. So everyone's collaborated well, the growers, the contractors, our staff, and we've managed to get the job done so far. So it's been as I said, a difficult start, but we've seen the light end of the tunnel, and the last couple of weeks have gone a lot smoother than the start of the season.
Yeah, it has been tough, and it's getting better, and we know it's just going to keep getting better. On one side of things, we've got RECs numbers that are back up to pre-COVID levels.
Correct.
We've got a lot of RECs, all things considered, but also the grit of our staff. Yeah. It's a credit to them to turn up day in, day out, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, ridiculous hours, but at the end of the day, we're all here for each other, and we just want to look after our growers. So can't be more appreciative of our staff.
And all things considered, the positive out of all of this is that we're ahead of plan. We've got capacity for main pack gold, main pack green. Looking at the next 4 weeks, it's going to be a wave of fruit, but we're in a real good position to be able to capitalise on actually doing more volume. So if there's anyone out there that is struggling at main pack gold, let us know, reach out to us. We're happy to help in more ways than one.
And if you're lucky, we might even invite you on as our next guest speaker. But in the meantime, that's us for another episode. Catch us next time. Thanks, guys.